Welcome to episode number 3 of PBI powered by Influence. I have, how do I say your name?
Marjorie.
Marjorie.
Or
how do you say it en français?
Marjorie, or for English people actually in corporate, MJ.
MJ.
Yeah.
All right. Michael Jackson. No.
Michael Jackson. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
Like, rest in peace, man. All right. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Happy New Year's to everybody that's watching.
Yes.
We missed 2 episodes because of the holiday seasons. I know our starting time of the whole thing because you're actually our 3rd guest.
Nice. 3 is actually a very important number. It's my lucky number.
It's your lucky number. Is there a specific reason to why?
It's a little bit OCD. It's simply that whenever I pick out things for home decor or whatnot, it's a question of balance, and I always have 3 of everything.
You have 3 of everything?
Almost, yeah.
Almost? Okay.
Yeah. It's
okay.
insane.
So we connected on social media.
Yes,
I think social media is such a big part of the game right now. So if you're not on social media, get on it.
I know.
Really get on it. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Twitter is dying.
Yeah.
Twitter is dying.
Yeah.
So I tried Twitter Live. I tried, is it Periscope or Periscope?
Periscope.
Periscope, right?
Yeah.
I tried that. Didn't like it. I don't know.
I basically went on it for a while and then I gave up. It was too
it's complicated.
ADHD, like it was too much.
It's super complicated. It's not simple. So if you're not on social media yet, get on it.
At least
that's
Instagram.
What it is. Instagram is super. I love Snapchat.
I was addicted to Snapchat until stories started on Instagram, then I gave up.
Really?
Yeah.
I read a couple of articles. It says that Snapchat you can post pretty much 24/7.
Yeah.
But on Instagram you should post approximately 7 to 10 stories a day.
Interesting.
Because apparently then people get too overwhelmed and they're just swiping through. Where versus on Snapchat, I guess it's a cool thing just to swipe through because just you can view it.
Awesome.
So we're gonna get to know you today.
Yes.
It's all about you, right? It's all about you.
Not narcissistic. No.
So to whoever doesn't know you, tell them a little bit about you. Who is MJ?
Well, in a nutshell, MJ is a marketer.
Okay.
Social, it's more in regards of the line of 10 years of experience in marketing. I'm from HEC Montreal. That's pretty much where I studied.
Okay.
And I've had 3 businesses before, failed, or basically just decided to close them.
What were those businesses?
The first business, I don't know what I was doing there. I was in construction, triple panes, thermal panes. It was a new technical, technology that prevented companies and saved companies to save money instead of doing window replacement. To actually have this technology that preserved their windows intact. And then after that, I left. It was a company business. I left that. Then after that, I actually started my blog. It was a passion. It was just a hobby back in 2009.
What was the blog about?
It was a lifestyle blog called Marjorie's Closet.
Okay.
And I had this tagline, which was about, live your life in style. And I was just writing about fashion and whatnot. And
whatever's in your closet.
Clothes, lots of shoes.
3 of each?
3 of each, maybe more than 3 of each. But it actually was in the beginning of the entire explosion of social media as well. And people really got interested in it. And companies got interested in it, and I got a huge break with Maddie Kay to model for her, and this is pretty much where everything exploded. Okay. And then people would ask me, and especially companies and in the fashion industry would ask me like, can you help me with our marketing and whatnot? I would say yes to everybody, and this is pretty much.
Would you do it for free or would you charge them?
Well, in the beginning I did it for free, but then after that, like I started charging, so I actually partnered with MobiWeb Media, that was a social media company, and I did not know much about, because everything I was doing was intuitive, and I ended up having clients in the fashion industry as well as hotel and bars. Okay. And I was actually ghostwriting for them, doing experiential marketing. I got like a couple of my friends that were also in the blogging industry involved, and we made money, and it was nice, but then I hit a wall. And I got a little bit overwhelmed and closed the business just because the creativity was not there. I didn't know why I was doing this. I was just saying yes to everybody.
You didn't have the love for it anymore.
No, I just hit a wall, and it was very hard, especially after one of our shopping events. I've done a huge shopping event, And it was so much work. It was a success, but then I felt empty inside and decided that I wanted to take 1 or 2 days off, and it ended up being 6 months.
Okay.
And when you're not working and you're freelancing and money's not coming in.
What were you doing for those 6 months?
Well, you know, I would blog. I still had my clients, you know, but I would not post anymore. I just stopped blogging altogether. I just went completely dry because I did not have any inspiration anymore in me. And I think that what happened is that it started with a hobby, but then when it ended up being my business, I kind of lost myself because I didn't know who my niche was. Because I was saying,
because everyone was approaching you, you're like, okay, here, I'll do it. That's it. I'll help you for free or pay me X amount of money.
That's
without realizing how much money you actually needed to run the business.
That's it. I did not have a plan. I did not have a niche. I did not necessarily have a very fixed you know, I didn't work on my offer. And so what happens is that you ended up saying yes. So you ended up having clients that are either super difficult that will drag you down. So then you overwork yourself and you work 7 days a week. You're angry and you don't love what you do anymore. So it started out as a passion with something that I hated after, so I closed it. So when you don't work, money doesn't come in, I said, you know what, I'll rest my mind and I'll go back to the corporate world. To me, it was a vacation.
So where did you go back?
I actually worked in many different companies. I went back to advertising agencies, so I did a little bit of experiential marketing.
Okay.
And then after that, I worked for non-for-profit as well. I worked.
Do you like non-for-profit?
No, actually it was shocking enough because integrity is everything to me, but when I saw the reality of how disconnected the employees were with the cause, that it was all advertising and all for show, I was, as an entrepreneur, because it's an entrepreneur that basically works in the corporate field, I was like, you guys, this is wrong. And I was like, this is wrong.
Disconnected from what you're doing.
Yeah, and me, I work with my heart, I work with my passion, and I think that what it is that I brought in also my, my attitude, being an entrepreneur in the corporate world. I did not know when to stop working. I would always work extra harder. And whereas people would come into the office and work their proper 9 to 5 and then go home.
At like 4:59, eh?
Yeah.
4:59, they're ready. They got
they're
their
ready. 4:50. No, 3:45.
3:45.
3:45. 3:45. You can tell that people were actually exiting.
See, this is my issue, right?
Yeah.
With running 3 companies now, and I think this is one of the issues, and I talk with Tamina about it all the time. It's you have those employees, and the funniest thing, you can't get away with it. I mean, you can't go away from it. You cannot say, you know what, I'm going to fire you and I'm going to hire someone else. Because the next person you hire, they're exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
Right? If their shift starts at 9 a.m., they start working at 9:01. At 9:05, they're already at the washroom. You know, by the time they come out of the washroom, it's 10:30 and they're going for their 15 minutes break.
They're just living for vacation and their 10 minutes and 15 minutes break.
And their paycheck every
And their
Friday.
paychecks and the little carrot every. So I basically lived through that for 3 years, which was great because I made new friends along the way. I got the skills that I needed to get. I rested my mind. I took advantage of the 3 weeks vacations with all the social benefits, which was amazing. And you know, after working, I went back to retail as well. So I worked for Lacoste for the Croco for 2 years under.
Why is Lacoste so expensive?
You know what? It's not a question of being expensive. I guess I still have the Croco imprinted in my heart because it's still something that actually changed my life in a way, especially in terms of branding and storytelling, is that you're actually buying a legacy. From the shirt that you're actually wearing, if you have you know, a conference or a networking event that you're going, that can the clothes that you're wearing can actually be a starter for a conversation.
All right. By the way, Lacoste, pay us, okay? We're promoting you. Okay.
Yeah,
so whichever camera, pay us. Okay?
I actually still have connections. I still have connections there. So to say with my journey at Lacoste is that I have worked my butt off so hard, and I've learned so much from working with the French management, finding out how different it was, that I had to adapt to even my writing. I had to write for French people, write for people from the rest of Canada, because I was coordinating 12 boutiques and 4 outlets.
Okay.
And I was the only marketer for the entire company in Canada. And I was also the point of reference between France and the United States and Canada.
Because I think Lacoste is actually one of the brands that has the biggest knockoffs.
Yes.
Like comparing to any other brand, like even if you compare like, you know, Polo, like Ralph Lauren or Hugo Boss or anything, I don't think they have as big of a market for knockoffs compared to Lacoste. You know, especially if you go to Asia, like especially you go to Bangladesh and India, like you have this guy at the corner with like a blanket on here, and you're passing by and he looks at you, he's like, do you want a Lacoste shirt?
But indeed, there is a huge issue, and I lived it, counterfeit. It's extremely huge with Lacoste, and there is a specific, especially with the team. We're a small team of 21 people in Canada, in the head office, managing all the all the boutiques, and it's just to tell you that indeed it was a challenge that we were running after several well-known, which I will not name, companies that used to counterfeit or maybe pass some either fake or real, merchandise.
Like 50-50 type of thing, like the perfume industry,
bad.
Right?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, and we would catch them, but unfortunately, sometimes there would be other ones that would come out of nowhere. So it was a big issue. But what I want to say in regards of my journey at Lacoste is that it pretty much had taught me about the brand identity, how important it is, and the storytelling, and also the heritage and the legacy. It's an 85-year-old company. So there is something, and it's actually the first company that started the BOGO logo. Yeah. So you have to see where it comes from and the history of it. I remembered when I had the interview, Nicolas Rebaud, the CEO that was there at the time, had given me the history book
of Lacoste
to welcome me in the company, and the next day I actually read the whole story about René Lacoste, about the history, about the polo shirt, because he was uncomfortable playing, that he actually used to pull up his shirt and then he decided to cut it, and then he got really passionate about le coton piqué, which is actually the cotton that is actually used to make a polo. To know that just to make one polo, you have to run from Brassard to Le Plateau. The thread makes one polo. That's the distance that it takes to make one polo. So you see, just that is a starter. And some shirts would have also Le Concorde, which is actually a plane. René Lacoste was part of building one of the first fast planes in Europe. So it's just to know that stuff that you wear can also be a starter for conversation.
There's so much history behind it.
Yeah, and now you have a company, I have a company, and building history. Every little key points of your company and what you're building are pillars that are good for storytelling for your social media and whatnot.
I think this is what the new startups are. Since we're talking about startups, we both have startups.
Yes.
That's one thing that I find that's missing is whenever you have new employees coming in. It could be either just a regular sales rep or could be your next vice president. Most startups are not telling a story.
You have to.
Right? They're coming in and they're like, great, you know what? I want to hire you. Okay, a company X. Okay, okay, great. I'm gonna pay you $50,000 a year. Yeah. There's no like you're saying about Lacoste. I mean, everyone knows Lacoste. Most people most probably didn't know the story that you just said, right? Now they know. Now most probably know Lacoste is gonna have a huge boom of sale. Yeah. Lacoste,
it's the marketer in me.
But it just comes down. Most companies, they're like, yes, we are hitting $100,000 a month in sales, but there's no story. Yeah. I have so many friends, no offense to you guys, I love you guys, but I know so many people, but they're not putting out that story. So 5 years from now, the company just simply dies out because there's no story, there's no life into that company. It's just a company that's selling like every other company, right? So to work for a big company like this, I think kind of opened a lot of doors for you. Now what happened after Lacoste? Why did you end up leaving?
I ended up leaving because I did a collaboration with Groupe Germain, who actually owns boutique hotels all across Canada. And I fell in love with their team. We collaborated and did an experiential marketing campaign.
From Lacoste, or it was you on the side?
I was at Lacoste.
Okay.
And and it was for the Rogers Cup, and I had so much fun working with them that there was an opening. They loved me, and then I went to join them.
Nice.
That's it.
So you went to Lacoste and you're like, listen, it was nice. Thank you for teaching me everything, but I gotta leave.
Yeah, so, well, it's pretty much the entrepreneur in me, you know, it's opportunities, it's learning, and it's also relationships. So I ended up at Groupe Germain and worked for them for a couple months, and that's pretty much where my creativity got boosted. That's pretty much where I was alive again. And
but I think a company got appreciate when they know that they built someone from here to here, and now that they can spread their wing and leave and to go create bigger things. And I tell this to all my staff all the time. I'm like, if you were to leave 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now for a better position, I won't hold it against you, because it's actually gonna make me feel good that as your manager or as the owner of the company or whatever, as a higher level to you, I feel proud of myself that I've taught you something and that you're able to do something better. But I think, again, coming down to startup companies, a lot of startup owners hate that. They're like, I spend so much money behind this person and now they're leaving. But you're not realizing that you have created a beast often, that they go to another company and they're shining. And again, coming down to a point, they're saying such a great story about the company that they grew in, right?
Every time I talk about the companies that I've worked for, you know, to me, it's a benchmark for everything that I've done. Like everything that I do, from the templates that I use at work, it's a piece of everything. Everything that, you know, what I give to all the interns and all the employees that I've had in the past is a little piece of advice, or whatever templates that I use, they use them. I use them either at Lacoste, or I use them at Groupe Germain, or I use them even Noailles by Vicky, a small business that I worked for right after I stopped my my blog. I was free agent. It was one of my clients. She hired me to do her marketing. I was a marketing director there. Give me a chance before I started at Lacoste. In between. And I basically helped her with her branding and build the entire storytelling, and convinced her, she was a small business, that storytelling and building the mission, the values, and cleaning all that was really important, especially before hiring employees. You need to make sure that you have a presentation deck that actually talks about what you stand for with your objectives. So I used to prepare a deck with the mission, the values, the history of Noailles by Vicky, so that when employees would have them, I think maybe 1 week prior to their start date, they were already immersed in the company, and they became the brand ambassadors. And the brand ambassadors pretty much starts from your team. You have to immerse them.
100%. You have to promote it, and I think real estate world, because one of my first guests was actually a very good friend of mine. He was a real estate agent.
Yes.
And I think real estate, you know, companies like Remax or Royal LePage, why they're so big, it's every single one of their agents, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram to Snapchat, it's Remax everywhere.
Yes,
Royal LePage
and you
everywhere.
see the pride.
And you see it. And again, going back to startups, that's something that a lot of startups are lacking, is they're hiring employees. And I'm lacking at one of my companies right now, is that my employees, they're like, oh, you know, it's my private social media. I'm not going to promote myself as someone that's working for this company, right?
In order to basically get to that point where your employees become ambassadors of your company, is because first, we live in a generation where we're surrounded by a lot of millennials at this point, and they are a generation that is actually quite special and particular to work with. Is that you have to be, as an employer, you have to be more interested in them than them interested in you. You have to kind of like serve them before they serve you, which is weird. And I know that for other generation, this is kind of like, no, you don't do that. You know?
And it's coming down to a point, talking about, I can't even say the word, sorry, I can't say.
MJ?
No, not your name.
What?
Millenniums, right?
Millennials.
Yes, millennials.
Yes.
See, I can't say that word.
I thought you
that's how bad it bothers me.
Okay.
That I can't even say the word. I find that these people, they think that the world owes them something.
I have to basically say one thing is that, and it's funny because I just went to my car dealership and we had a whole conversation about that. The tip of the trade in order to have your employees and to have them embrace your brand and be really motivated and do whatever it is that you want for them is that first, you need to find out what is their true passion from the time that you do the interview.
Exactly.
Once you basically found out their true passion, make sure that you actually tailor the job that you
to their passion.
To their passion. Once you basically hold up that promise of feeding their passion, whatever it is that you're going to do, whatever it is that you're going to present to the table, they'll do it. Because they're a generation, remember when you were much younger, like 20, 19, 18?
I'm actually in my early 20s.
But
that's how bad it is.
It's fine because some people, like my brother, he's also a millennial, but he's more an X, the way he thinks, more traditional.
Like old way of thinking.
Yeah, that's it. And there are some that 9 to 5 or just the way of doing it's more traditional. And then you have the millennial that is really the ones that you basically see self-entitlement and whatnot. Yeah. And then you have people like me. I'm not a millennial, but I'm actually at the tip. We are the generation that pretty much used the technology, the internet. We're the first users of the internet. We're the first people that played Nintendo.
Yes, Nintendo 64.
Yeah, that's it. Even that, the other one. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know.
Before the 64.
What was before the 64?
I don't know, but it was the black and gray one.
I don't know. I know the 64. I remember like blowing through the thing. Yeah, having to put it in because
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Bang it,
But then there's so much saliva that goes in between that thing, and you're like, you have to wait a little bit, you know, which is really funny.
Blow dried.
Blow dried or something, you know. And then if you would play, then there were glitches on your screen.
Yes, exactly. My TV was broken too, so I had to hit the TV.
You hit the TV. We all remember those days, straight out of the 90s. Basically capture their passion, and that you're actually able to also give them training. That means if you rally your entire team and teach them something and take a break from your daily grind and give them a training or teach them something you don't understand, they will be at your feet. And what I wanted to say is that being a millennial is that you don't have, you have that aspect, and all humans, we all have that, is with growth, we don't have the aspect of consequences. Mm-hmm. And that is something that we lose because of bad experiences along the way as we get old. That's why when you have people that are much older, it's hard for them to actually change.
Change, yes, 100%.
Whereas when we were younger, we used to do all kinds of bad things and we didn't really care about consequences because our minds were not able to filter through, or were not, we didn't have the capacity of having all those experiences bundled it.
Now, were you born here, or were you born back
I was born and raised in Montreal in le quartier de Pointe-Saint-Charles. Pointe-Saint-Charles, ouais.
PSC, as they would say.
PSC, they have another name also. It was a cool name, someone told me. Punto, I think. It was just Punto, Saint Punto, something like that.
Ghetto.
Like the ghetto, like Saint Puto. Yeah, right? Saint Puto.
Saint Puto?
Saint Puto. Punto.
Okay, was it like, is this guy like half Spanish and half
No,
French?
not even. He was like, Quebecer, and he was like, oh oui, Saint Punto. Oh yeah.
That sounds ghetto as fuck.
Well, it is ghetto, but you know what? I remembered with the referendum, at one point they say Pointe-Saint-Charles was the poorest neighborhood in Montreal, and now it's the coolest neighborhood.
Are you still there?
No, I'm not.
Where are you living
I'm
now?
in DDO. The West Island.
So like, les enfants.
Like Lorena.
Like we say, les enfants gâtés.
Ouais, ben c'est ça. Lorena calls it the Waste Island. Waste Island.
I say it's les enfants gâtés. Every time I have an interview with someone from the West, I say, enfants gâtés.
No, on n'est pas des enfants gâtés. But you know, like I lived in Pointe-Saint-Charles.
You grew up in a different way. I mean, like now the funniest thing, I'm in Bois-Franc, right? So it's like, whoa.
You're in the middle.
right, I'm in the middle.
You're kind of like an enfant gâté too.
I come from straight ghetto, one studio, uptown. Then I was in foster care in Walkley.
Oh.
So you want to talk ghetto? I come from that.
No, but my ghetto is more ghetto. Like
depending, it depends. I think this is where the conversation comes in, you have your point of view, I have mine. This is where we want to butt head with each other. But no, I mean, I grew up in what? It wasn't even a 3.5. There was no bedroom. The bathroom was open, like there was a door.
A semi-basement.
Right? So, so it's not bad. You're in the West, I'm there, so it's not bad. Now, coming from there, Point Saint Charles, right?
Yeah.
Being colored. And I'm gonna bring this up. I don't care what you all think. I'm gonna bring this up. Being colored wasn't easy. I got bullied. I wasn't born here.
Yeah.
I came from Bangladesh, 2001.
Yeah.
Being colored, coming from the ghetto hood.
Yeah.
Most people would go on the left, right?
Yeah. My left.
Towards I did. Until I got married, my wife kind of brought me back to the right position.
Nice.
You went to university, finished up university.
Yes, I did. I went to HSC, yeah.
Thank God, not business administration. I have a very strong point of view on that. But marketing, I'm okay. Because I've been forcing my wife to get into marketing. She's debating, HR or marketing. What made you kind of be like, you know what, I don't want to be like everybody else. Like all the other girls and all the other guys that are smoking weed and
oh, you want to know the story?
Through the whole, I mean, right? Go ahead. I mean, we have a little bit of time, right? We have a little bit of time, right?
Yeah, I went to Dawson, and it was known back in the early 2000s to be the social school. Like every time you would say, I go to Dawson, like, you don't study. Yeah. And it's true. I mean, I partied all the time.
I used to hang around with people at Dawson, and I wasn't even a student there. That's the funniest thing. I wasn't a student there. I would walk into a class and the teachers would know me. I'm like, that's how bad it was, right?
It's really bad. And I remembered that there was this guy, he studied in Pure and Applied, and he was playing domino, because we always played domino at the atrium for people that went to Dawson, right, Stefano? Huh? He's a professor I think he's watching, and he knows exactly.
I used to hang around at, you would have the door coming in through front of Atwater Mall, the Alexis Neon towards the other side.
That's the atrium.
Right, where they would have the table, that's where I would hang around with.
That's the atrium. And this guy actually went and said, you guys are never studying, you're always skipping class, and you guys are going to actually clean my cafeteria
one day
when I will be an engineer. And the day that I heard that, I was like, what the? Like, are you for real? Yes, and it actually touched me, and I really took it for face value. And that same time, I actually left the group and started studying, got a tutor, and really I was decided to study and to really apply myself to school, and here I am now.
Sometimes I think you really need
that hit. A little push.
I think when I got my hit, I actually went towards the other way. My principal actually told me that you're never going to make it. By the time you're 25, you're either going to be dead or in jail. That was her point of view. And that was a principle. I think until now, when she said that to me, I was in Sec 1. I was actually in CPF. Mm-hmm. The funniest story is, from primary school to high school, I think I was the only kid that dropped out in Sec 1.
Oh, wow.
I ended up dropping out in Sec 1. I said, screw this. I had the youth protection involved and everything.
Oh, wow.
And I remember her telling me this. I still have 1 more year to go before I can prove her wrong. So,
but I think you've already proved her wrong with everything right now.
And I think going back to education, I mean, we all have a different point of view. Some people are, it's okay with dropping out. That's my, me, it's, listen, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's what it is. But I do not find that anyone should ever say, what they said to you or what they said to me, and I think there's too many of that.
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous. I was told that from my grade 6 teacher, that school was not for me. And the funny things is that now I own a branding and marketing school for creative entrepreneurs.
What cliche, right? And I run a training center.
That's it. And it's just, I know, huh? And it's just to say that the mission, if you look at the school, is that we take into account that everybody learns differently.
100%.
And that because I had a lot of difficulties, I was a straight F, and it's really hard for me to learn, and I need to learn by repeating. I have to practice, I have to hear it, and I have to see it. So it takes me a lot to learn.
Everyone's very different. So
that's why, like with Grand Atelier, we've pretty much built with Lorena Rossi, because she's a social worker. That's pretty much where she comes from. And we basically created a curriculum where we took out all the marketing jargon and all the corporate jargon to verbalize it in a human way.
So now, how did you start that? I mean, coming from all this corporate, from Lacoste and Marge.
I said in a nutshell, right, with my career and everything. So we're actually hitting right on the money, is that after Groupe Germain, it did not work out. And in the meantime, I had met Lorena, and who was someone that I had written a blog post about at the time when I had Marjorie's Closet. And she basically contacted me and wanted to have a coffee. So anyways, we met at Henri Bernard and everything, and we had a beautiful conversation. And she was at the time freelancing and also doing groups, workshop for women entrepreneurs and helping them out. And just to make the story short, she had asked me if I wanted to perhaps teach marketing to them, because, you know, she saw that I was very knowledgeable and it would be very interesting for me to transfer my knowledge. And I said no. Why? Because it's kind of like the imposter syndrome of who am I to go and teach to other people marketing? Like I'm not where I'm supposed to be yet. I don't have 20 years experience with the track record of all these marketers. So I said no. But then I said, you know what? She said to me, Marjorie, just think it over. She was heading, it was during the summer. So she says, I'm going away on vacation. I'll let you know. I'll just keep in touch and let me know if you want to do this.
If you change your mind, like sleep on it, right?
I slept on it for about a month, and I said, you know what? I don't necessarily know if marketing is for me or if I want to continue, but you know, why don't I just, while I'm looking for a job, why don't I just
give it a try, yeah.
So I basically called her back and I said, listen, Lorena, I want to do this. I'll help you out. And what happened is that I was supposed to help her do all the strategic work and all the marketing planning and whatnot, and the branding and cleaning up that business to help her out. And next thing you know, I became a part owner.
Okay, wow.
And I never looked for a job since. And we've celebrated our 1-year anniversary. And it's crazy because Grind Atelier is actually the first branding and marketing school for creative entrepreneurs. We've built 4 signature classes to help people clean up their businesses so that they may find clarity, focus, so that they can grow their business. And the whole mission is to help them overcome solitude, and as well as support them through their entrepreneurial journey. Not just their entrepreneurial journey, but as well as their lifestyle, because our slogan, I don't know if you've actually noticed, the grind responsibly, is because we believe in work-life balance. I've suffered 2 massive burnouts, and I believe that your creativity can only be activated if you actually have a clear mind. And having a good work-life balance, you're married, with being with your wife, not talking about business, is very important.
She says that it's hard for me. It's super hard for me because
you have
I'm not that bad right now. The past 2 years, that's that's what was bad. But it comes down to the point where we're trying to figure it out, and like you said, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
It does.
Look, after how many years have you actually figured it out, right? I mean, right? That too, if you have, right? You know, knock on wood.
It's always it's a working process.
It's a working process. You never know.
Yes.
What's the next step now? I mean, what's the plan?
The plan at this point right now is that we're coming up with boot camps that are going to start this spring. So 2-day boot camp with the 4 classes, so people will be able to live the Grind Atelier experience for creative entrepreneurs. It's going to be classes offered live as well, so you can actually attend the class at your home or be in person at Lemonade, where we're located. And also we're going to continue inviting educators to come and teach along the way, and where I'm going to teach classes as well, either Find Your Niche or different classes that are going to be here in the game. Lots of interview, lots of key people, lots of fun, lots of food also, because at the office we're a little bit weird. We love to have fun. So there's going to be
IKEA, I saw that.
Yes,
IKEA dinner.
We love, it's kind of part of our storytelling. It's office stuff. We love to eat, so we basically share our cheap entrepreneurs. So there's going to be a lot of that this year.
I love IKEA food. It's healthy.
It's so good.
Cheap.
Yeah,
it's healthy. It's
and there's
cheap.
Free Wi-Fi, big desk. It's like kind of like a co-working space.
And the best thing is IKEA is right here.
It's right there.
So it's
right there somewhere.
It's like somewhere here. It's like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. It's clearly that you have made it.
Still a long way.
You're happy.
I'm happy.
You have made it. You have made it. I think in life nothing beats happiness.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I tell this to my wife. My wife's like, my mom tells me, my mother is very old school, and she still until this day she tries to figure out what I'm doing with my life. Still until this day, I think she's not.
Invite her to your office. No, my mom actually comes to my workshops and events and whatnot, and she's my #1 fan. Like, she loves it.
My mother is still, and again, for her, it's go to school, go get a degree,
become a doctor.
My mom didn't have that. My mom had one high hope, is she wanted me to become a pilot. Right?
Oh wow!
That was one thing. And growing up until I came here, I was actually a very good student back at home. I was a good student. That the fact that you could have given me a test and I would get an A on it.
Nice.
And I didn't have to study for it.
Okay.
But I would still get punished because I would make fun of every other kid in class. I was the polite bully. I wouldn't physically abuse you, but I'd verbally screw with you. Right?
Yeah.
But it just comes down to a point. It's my mother still says, why don't you work at a bank? I'm like, Mom, first of all, I make more money than what someone that works at a bank does. That's one, period. Two, I don't like wearing a suit. Do you see me? I mean, this is comfortable. I like to.
Look at me today.
I mean, right? I walk into my office like this. I mean, you know.
It looks good, yeah.
I don't like wearing a suit. I don't want to have to wear a suit and a tie. I don't know how to tie a tie, Mom. Like, I never wore a tie in my life.
There's YouTube and Google for that.
Right? You know what? I watched the video and I was confused. I threw the tie. I felt like burning it and cutting it into pieces.
It's more simpler, right? Like, without it.
Right, exactly. But that's the thing. I'm happy with what I do, right?
Yeah.
So I think you made it, and I think whoever is happy right now with whatever it is, it could be a minimum wage, or it could be you're making millions. I know Tim Horton owners that owns 4 or 5 Tim Hortons, and they're the most unhappiest people I've ever met in my life. They are super unhappy. Their wives are unhappy. Their kids are unhappy.
Yeah.
I think coming for that you made it, and so now for all the people, how they can find out more about Grind Atelier, where can they go?
Actually, they can go on our website, grindatelier.com, and we're pretty active. As we're starting back on the 15th of January, so we're pretty active on our Instagram, Grind Atelier.
Okay.
And as well as on Facebook. So those are the places where people can find us, or they can come at Lemonade, co-working space, 1350 Mazurette, Suite 224, to come and see us and drop in and say hi. So those are the ways that you can actually come and see us, or DM us, message us, everything.
Perfect. So now this is one thing we do at the end of every single show.
What do we do?
You see this white piece of paper?
Okay.
You have to make a paper airplane out of it.
Oh, shit.
When was the last time you made a paper airplane?
My gosh, maybe in Sec 5.
Great. This is going to be fun.
Oh my God, I haven't done one. I'm like on the spot.
I know you are. Look at her. She's like, screw this shit. She's beating the shit out of the piece of paper.
So you want to hear me swear right now?
It's okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I
see,
love
Lacoste,
this.
Rene Lacoste made his first
fast
jet, and you made your first paper airplane in an office.
Can I just like?
You want to throw it? Go ahead,
I'm gonna
throw it.
Oh my God, this is pretty.
Flies.
It flew.
It flies.
It flies.
Now, this is what you're gonna sign on it. You're gonna write. Really? Really?
We're gonna get it. Thank God.
You're gonna sign on it.
Okay.
You're gonna put the date, and you're gonna write the name of your company on it.
Awesome. So, Grind Atelier, and I'm gonna write Grind Responsibly because
that's your hashtag. Grind responsibly.
Responsibly, and I'm going to sign it right here with the date.
What date are we today? We are
the 7th.
7th?
January 7th, 18.
Can you imagine 7 days has already been gone of 2018?
I can't believe it. But this actually, the 7th day, well spent, well invested with everybody. This is amazing.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thank you
so much. It means a lot to us. Thank you for supporting. And I just want to say this message quick to everybody. We started this for one simple reason, and I'll tell you this. I mean, as a marketer and as someone growing up in Montreal, I think you have seen it too much.
Yeah.
And I've seen it too much. It's always that same 3-4 fucking guys on every single fucking show. It's always them, and it is the funniest thing is they have not done anything. And listen, I don't like to badmouth anyone or whatnot.
You're being real. You're being real.
Right, mommy and daddy gave you shit. Stop it. Listen, we come from the real hustle.
We come from the ghetto.
We come from the ghetto.
The hustle.
Right. Right. I mean, and I got tired of that.
Yeah.
And I really said, listen, and I'm all about underdogs. I'm all about, because I think that companies like yours, and I think you know Samantha as well. She's going to be on the show.
Yes.
Not this week, the week after.
Amazing.
And I find people like you and her are the ones that making the real difference. And I think on radio and on all these other TV channels, that big channels, I think they don't give enough love and support to the real story. It's all too commercialized. Mm-hmm. And so we said, you know, how can we really make this raw? And one, be able to swear, because I swear a lot.
Yeah.
I tried not to swear too much because I have like
you did really good today.
I have 3 women around me. Normally I have a guy, so I feel a little more comfortable. Now I'm like, shit, you know? Tone it down, right?
Be yourself.
But right, that's what it is. And I think this will allow us to grow, because we get to learn so much from you guys. And I hope that people, everyone that's seeing, that supports you guys, and you know, it's not always about going and spending money. Like I posted, it's about just sharing that Facebook page. You get to be part of they get to be part of your success. You get to be part of theirs. Yeah. So that's what it is, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you. That was so much
This
fun.
was episode number 3. Keep hustling and grinding, and like she says, grind responsibly.
Yes, do so.
Peace. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
That was really fun.